Hello, everyone. Welcome back to How to Speedrun Minecraft. This is a podcast meant to inform you, the viewer, about how to speedrun Minecraft and how to improve. Today is April 2nd, so it's been a while, but we're bringing it back. And today I'm joined by Hackingnoises.
Voice, meow, like that.
Meow! Yo, hello.
Hello. It is like 10 a.m. and I just woke up, so I sound kind of dead, but the viewers will just have to deal with it. Maybe my voice will like slightly get higher in pitch as we go on.
Yeah, we have like opposite time zones. It's like 10:20 p.m. for
it's
me.
really funny. You'll get a little more tired as we go on,
Yeah.
and I'll get a little more awake.
This is my practice for playoffs when I have to stay up to 2 a.m.
Yeah, playoffs. That's so rough, man.
Yeah. Average Hong Kong
So
time
what
zone.
have you been doing lately? Like, you got partner, right?
Yeah, I got partner. I don't know,
That's crazy.
it's so weird like looking, cause like I never like planned on like streaming or whatever. I started like running for fun, and it's just like I just streamed to like, cause I was like grinding RSG a bunch, and then just like I just kept streaming, and then like shit just happened. It's I don't know, it just like doesn't, it felt so fast. But like recently I've been grinding like obviously ranked. The ranked addiction is very real. Some tilt queues, but like finally currently it's like season 4, I think, like the final phase, and currently I'm like rank 3, and which is like almost, it's pretty hype, but I'm happy with it, because like most of the season I was like hard stuck, like 20th, 30th, like just overall bad season. But like this final phase I've kind of figured it out.
Nice.
I've also been doing a bunch of 100 hardcore, been trying to beat well, I want to try and beat Feinberg's average, which is like low 23 or something for his like streak. But like I've been struggling with the consistency part. I keep dying. I did like a 7-hour session today. Got like 18 runs, and then I lost the streak by walking into a golem and dying. Like the consistency part is like so hard for me, but I'm getting better. Yeah, it's like ranked in 100 hardcore. Like RSG is kind of out of the picture for me right now, but who knows? Maybe in the future I'll go back.
I think the consistency thing is what a lot of people are really hoping that you'll improve even more at, because in ranked it's like, oh, this hacks guy is like really fast, but we don't know what he's gonna do. And then you showed up last season and you like went undefeated until the final match, which is really cool.
I think that's like historically been my biggest problem, because I've there's this old, or it's not old, but there's this graph that Sushi made a while ago, which was on every player, or on like elo, like a graph. I think that y-axis was average, x-axis elo, and it was for season 1, 2, 3, and there'd always be like generally like as elo goes up, average goes down, but like in the middle there's just some random ass spike that's just me, like a 1600 elo or whatever, and it's the same average as everyone who's like rank 5, like 5-4, top 5-4, 3-2-1. It's like the same average, but the elo is just way worse. It is like the consistency is just like, it's just my kryptonite. I don't know.
Do you think part of it is also like rank tilt? You get really tilted.
I don't know. I think previously, like, I definitely get tilted, but it's like this season, after playoffs, I think I definitely had like a lot worse mental. I think partly, like, looking back on it, it's probably a lot due to like expectations. It's like I always I think it is weird. It's like, it is kind of funny, like, talking about it, that, like, my average is so much more ahead of my elo or whatever, but it is definitely, like a tilter in a way, right? Because I'll just look at it, and it's like, I know what I should be capable of. Like, I know, like, what my skill ceiling is, but I just, like, struggle to hit it, and that definitely is, like, kind of a loop of tilt, and it's like, I think I have gotten better at dealing with it, but consistency, I think, like, I've been thinking about like this a lot, because it is like my big weakness, right? And it's like a lot of it is all, or like most of it is just like focus, how well you can focus and just like fully dial in on like everything you need to think of, like how you exit bastions, what you have, and also just like having good habits. Because it's like I was thinking about this. It's like something I've started doing recently is I started having like standardized spots for my fire rest, and it's like my like doing that hasn't made like my memory better, but it's like it just makes me focus on smaller like things that normally, because previously I just have like fire res in like some random spot or whatever, but now I have it in like above my axe, pickaxe, like above the first 3 slots or whatever in like that spot, or I try to make them like there if I have time. And it's just like paying attention to small things like that, building those habits, I think like helps you, like it's kind of like a microscope where it's like your focus is like the light or whatever, but then it like you shine your focus onto certain areas, and that like helps with consistency. And that's been something I've been like working on a lot. I mean, there is like consistency with like habits and forgetting or whatever, but there is also like general consistency, right? Where it's just like not throwing bad pearls, just not making stupid terrain decisions. Those are the ones I struggle with a lot, where it's just like you will just have like the doubt in the back of your mind, and then maybe you go left when you should have gone right, or you go down and you should have gone up, like stuff like that. That's like the stuff I'm working on right now.
You've made it to top 3, so clearly things are going better. But like, yeah, that consistency thing of just eliminating distractions that you don't need to be thinking about, I think is super important. Like for me, when I am doing AA in the any percent segment, I'll put my string in the same spot always. I'll put my gunpowder in the same spot always. Always have my pearls in the same slot. And then even any percent runners, they're starting to put their fire charges in like the top left, right? Yeah. That's been a thing for a while, so you can instantly let the portal. But it can. If the one problem is if things are slightly off, your muscle memory might be screwed. So there's this maybe choke from like a week ago where he throws out his blaze powder.
Oh, I think I've seen that, yeah.
Because his inventory is slightly off.
Yeah,
I mean.
Yeah, like inventory management, like when I've tried other categories, like I've never done AA, but I've delved a bit into like marathon categories, like all portals. I think I have like a sub 8 or whatever in that. And like when I was just doing like the any percent segment for that, I just like have no standardized spots for anything. I like throw out my mending books, throw out my gunpowder. It was so bad.
Do you think you would ever touch any more marathon categories like AA?
Definitely. Danny's been peer pressuring me so much.
Really?
Yeah, I was in call watching Silver watch one of your runs. He was studying up, and it's like that inspired me so much, because it's like there is so much like depth to AA as a category, and it's like RSG is like fun, but it's starting to reach like I think it is like one of the things I've enjoyed so much is just like practicing mechanics and like micro and stuff like that, which we can talk about later. But I feel like we are starting to reach like the end game of that, where it's like everything is near perfect. Like in season 1 of ranked or whatever, one of the big things I'd have is like I wouldn't be the most consistent, but on some seeds I just play perfectly when no one else could, and it's like I had that down really early. But now like season 4, it's like obviously a lot more people can do it, but I'd say like now 3 people can do it consistently, like me, Duke, Loki, and it's like a lot of seeds I'll play against them, and it's like I really made no mistakes, and it's just like we just all play perfectly, and it's just and it's just like there's no time loss, just some micro, like maybe they got one more stray than I did, or their pearl was just slightly better, like blind pearl into lava or something, stuff like that. And it's like I feel like with RSG, it's just like it's getting to a point where it's like, or RSG/ranked, where it's like near perfect, and it's just finding that time save is so hard. And I think like maybe trying like a longer category where there's just like so much stuff is like would be refreshing, because like obviously there's just like so much to optimize, right? And there's also just like a shit ton to learn, like in general. Like I feel like it's way harder to get burnout.
I think AA would definitely benefit from a lot of any percent runners trying it, because what you were talking about with the optimizations, like I think more of that could be brought to AA, like search crafting in the end game. People don't really do that. I know people have talked about switching languages in the middle of the run in AA for search crafting, which is a pretty cool idea. but no one's like really doing it in ARSG.
I mean, search. I like search crafting. Even in like any percent, it's not like fully fleshed out. Like there's Ukrainian, there's
That's
Norwegian, which in my opinion is the best of. There's like Luxembourgish, Frangian, like stuff like that. There's such like so much depth.
I guess the bigger thing about it is that so much of it is just like decision making and routing that, you know, you could do all the micro stuff in the world, but if you just find a biome 5 minutes faster, your run will be 5 minutes faster, which is like kind of silly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always like to see things being their most optimal.
I think that aspect of AA, like definitely the biome RNG bit, is like probably the most like jarring to me as like a ranked runner who just like expects everything like handed to me. But I think something like, oh my god, this brings me back to like a crazy old memory. Do you remember MSL, the Antoine tourney?
Yeah.
I remember like playing those like village seeds or whatever on that, and it's like every single enter, I would always lose like 20-30 seconds, and I just didn't understand because it's like I was just doing the best strats. I felt like I was killing Golem. I was doing the same thing, but it's like one thing I started doing that I like still sometimes do is like for tourneys or whatever. I feel like this is so good for just like catching small details. Is I just had like 5 POVs or not like 5, like 3 or 4 POVs open all at the same time, just running at the same time, and just like would watch village seeds or whatever. And it's like you can just see like the small differences between like each routing, like which house they go to, what hay bales they go to, and it's like stuff like that. And it's just like the routing of just like drawing the line between like different important spots, I think is like so interesting. I think like watching AA runners is like, it seems so easy, but it's like I feel like there's so much nuance to that. And like I feel like with ranked and stuff, it's like in like season 3 and season 4, it's like villages and desert temples I think are like the 2 most fun seeds because those are all routing. And it's like it is like cool to like know that it's like we've nearly perfected these seeds, but it is like also kind of boring where it's like, okay, now that we've perfected it, like what now? And I think like talking about like AA again, it's like there is just like such an open like can of worms in a way where it's like there's so much optimization and so much to like learn, at least for me who knows like nothing.
Yeah. It's I think one of the biggest talents in almost any skill is making things that are extremely difficult look super easy.
Yeah.
That's like the level where you know that you're good at it. Okay. I want to get a little bit more into ranked because playoffs is coming up soon. So do you want to just like explain to our viewers what the phase thing is with ranked?
The phases, it's basically the new qualifier format for ranked. It's basically like previously in like season 1, season 2, season 3, what people would do is just they could basically AFK for the first like 80% of the season, and basically how it worked previously was the top 8 would directly qualify to the bracket as seeds 1 to 8, and then seeds 9 to 16 would go through with quals, and it's like everyone 9 to 100 would play through the quals. But this season, to like make it so people can't just AFK until the end, the season is divided into 3 phases. One like basically for each like third. Like phase 1 is the first third, phase 2 second third, and like for each phase you'll get points, and the people with the top 12 points, phase points, you get phase points at the end of each phase, by the way. And the top 12 people with the most points will directly get seeded in, and it's still a 16-player bracket, and it's like the final 4 will play like a different quals format that hasn't been released yet, I think. But it's like it's kind of based on the mid-season showdown, which was played like a few weeks ago, I think, which was just it was basically like I don't know how to. It's like you depending on how you do on a seed, you get points, and it's like you play through multiple seeds, and then like if you're low on points, you get eliminated, like that kind of format, kind of like. Well, I want to say TRT, but not really. It's like the next like the next stage of like TRT format. I don't know.
How did you do in the mid-season showdown?
I mean, I didn't do great. I got like, I mean, there were a lot of people who played. I got like 13th, but it's like you needed top 4 to get like points or whatever. But it's like I think I did like the day after midseason showdown, I did like a full VOD review or whatever, and I think I learned a lot. So like
That's good.
I didn't do great in it, but I'm feeling better for playoffs, I think.
And playoffs are just always at a pretty bad time for you, right?
Yeah, I think I played in the last playoffs in season 3, and I think my round of 16 match against V-Street was at 6 a.m. My quarterfinals against Loki was at like midnight, and then we have semis and grands on the same day, and I think I was like, I tried to like nap before, but it's like I got like 3 hours of sleep, and I think my semis match was at like 1 a.m. and then my grand finals match was at like 4 a.m. and I was so tired by then. Like in the final seed that me and Priffin played, like you can tell, like watching back on it, it's so embarrassing, but it's like I could tell I was so unbelievably tired because when you dig you know how it's like in triple stables or whatever, it's like you dig the hole where the pigs go in and then you trade the goal in the hole. I just like forgot to dig the hole. Like I've never made that mistake ever, and it's just like it's just a pure tiredness play. I don't know. But yeah, it's just like super rough time zone.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough because you could be like, oh, you know, if I were NA, maybe I'd have won playoffs by now. But I mean, if you did win it regardless, I think that'd be even cooler, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I am okay. This is something I want to try. It's like because when in season 3, it's like something I realized with my mental is like this sounds really dumb, but I would try to just like force myself through it. Like I try to like get the adrenaline pumping and just like fully like focus on that. But something I've like realized is like kind of over this season as well. It's just like tilt will just like make you tired and stuff like that. It's like your mental alone isn't enough. Like you have to think like how like if you're physically tired, that will like leak into your mental, and it's like even if you don't like feel like it, it's like it still will. Like tilt will make you tired. It'll make you like less focused. It'll like get in your head, and it's like stuff like that. I want to like try and do things that'll make me like more awake. Like I've never drank caffeine before, but I'm like considering like it is definitely scary, but I've been considering like getting used to like caffeine or whatever to try and just like stay slightly more awake during playoffs for like the advantage of just like being awake. Because like I like that memory of I don't know if you have this, but it's like whenever I like make a dumb mistake in tourneys, it like sticks with me, and that mistake of like forgetting the stables hole is like that's gonna stick with me for a long time, and it's like I never want to make that mistake ever again. It's just like I'm willing to do like almost anything to just like prevent that. I don't know.
That's funny. I'm trying to think if there's any tournaments where mistake has still stuck with me. I mean, I was never a big 1.16 player, so I just didn't play in that many. Oh, I have a mistake that stuck with me. ESI 2, you know Chad cycle, right? Where you just build the obby higher. I built it a little too high, and the node was really short. So the dragon just like charged into me, and I couldn't. Listen, it didn't like matter, but it was really funny.
Yeah, I remember. Oh my god, that have you seen the 2-bed crystal cycle or whatever, where you do Chad cycle and like 2 beds in the max? Yeah, you pearl to the crystal. I remember practicing that, but like it would like never work because the same thing would happen. The dragon would just be too low.
Funny. So, expectations for ranked. Is your mindset like, I'm gonna win, I'm going in, I'm gonna do great in playoffs? Or is it just like, you know, I can't set my expectations that high?
Okay.
Where do you feel you're at?
I think in season 3, it's like, I remember talking about this on stream like ages ago, but it's like, I think it was, like when people were doing the predictions or whatever for like playoffs or whatever, and it was like seeing what people predicted, and it's like objectively I remember looking at the bracket for season 3, and it's like I had quarterfinals match against Loki, and this was like Loki coming off his season 2 like victory, so he was like the defending champion. It's like objectively looking at it, I remember like listening, I think it was Curry or something, and it was like Curry said something like I think hacking's good, but he's not as consistent as Loki. And it's like I remember thinking about that, and it's like rationally, like yes, like objectively, like if we run the numbers, like probably 7 out of 10 times Loki will like beat me. But it's like I think if you have that in the back of your mind, that'll just like eat away at you, and you'll play worse. You just like, even if it's like not the most truthful, I still like in my head for season 3 like had myself like, okay, I'm gonna play and I'm gonna win. Like you have to have that play to win mentality to just like play confidently, which I think I did. Like obviously nerves will still just like affect you. Like I was really nervous before my Loki match, but it's just like having that belief that you can win, I think does have like a large effect. But also like as like I was talking about earlier, where expectations is like the regular season for season 4, just like regular matches, like kind of fucked with me, where it's like I thought, or like I expected myself to do better than I did, and it's like that is like the adverse effect of expectations. I think I have gotten better at dealing with that. Like the more I thought about it, it's just like you just have to like try your best. Like even if you want to like win or whatever, it's like you just have to like fully recognize that like you have to try your best. And it's like when you do try your best and just like no, I tried everything I could, it's like it's hard to like get mad at yourself or like to at yourself, because it's like you did like everything you could, I think. And it's like I think it is I mean it is like easier said than done, but I think it is so important to like balance the expectation of like knowing what you're capable of and also like believing that you can, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that definitely makes sense. For me, I struggle a lot with nerves and also expectations. I have like a lot of doubt, I guess, and I tend to I guess underestimate myself or like put myself down really badly. And I think that that's part of why I like when I'm on good pace, when I'm in a tournament, it just like adds to that. And it's rough because some people are just like, you know, they've always been better at managing that, and they're always gonna be better at managing that.
Yeah, I think like, dude, oh my god, this reminds me of something. It's like, I think for that, it's like I had earlier. Okay, I still have this ongoing this season, but it's like this season I think like I went 0-14 against Duke in my first 14 matches I played against him. I was 0-14, but and it's like I had that like mental barrier, right? Like, and it's just like I was just like mind blocked. Like every time I'd play him, I would just get like nervous or whatever. But it's like I don't know what it was. It's just like every time I like played him again, it's like okay, I'll try and improve this. I'll try and change this, and it's like just like to try and stay more focused. It's like eventually, like I like it's not like I completely flipped the scoreline, but eventually like it cracked where it's like I could beat Duke, and then it, like I think after I beat him, I beat him again. It's like right now it's like it's still not a great like head to head. Like I think I'm like 2-15, but it's like nobody beats me 15 times in a row. It's like eventually, like if you grind like enough, like and just like keep on trying to improve stuff, I think eventually like things will just work out. Like you'll just figure something out.
All right. How about another topic? I think a lot of people know you for your mechanics. It's like a big part of your play style and your stream with like your really loud keyboard. So like, were you? I mean, how long have you been playing Minecraft for? Like, were you always, you know, mechanically talented?
I mean, I think part of it is just like I played Minecraft for a while. I used to be I started out in like 2015 or something, or not like doing runs, but like just like playing on like multiplayer or whatever, like Hypixel, like stuff like that. I used to be a UHC player. I used to play a bunch of Rick Skywars, UHC, and like stuff like that before I got into like MCSR. And I think that definitely was like a fundamental like foundation, right? Where it's just like you knew how to like play the game, because it's like for UHC or whatever, you kind of need like good mechanics, because like especially because I played 1.8, right? And it's like like rod PvP on 1.8 is like you need to be able to, you need pretty good mechanics like lava rod, stuff like that. So it's like some of it definitely like translated over, but it's like I mean, it definitely one thing I think I got good at like more recently. It's not like I was always good at it because I still have this this run highlighted on my Twitch from like ages ago of like an 11-2x SRG, but I sucked. And it's like looking back on that, it's like my mechanics were so bad. Like it's actually so embarrassing looking back on it. But I don't know. I feel like with mechanics, it's just something I've always been like practicing. It's just like whenever I'm bored, it's like, okay, I want to practice something. It's like the first thing I would go to is like, okay, maybe I'll boot up Portal practice map or like crafting practice. And it's just like, I think that habit has just like helped me like get better at it over time. I think there wasn't like a big moment. I think it's just like small accumulation.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's funny that you mention UHC and mechanics because I remember I used to play video UHC back in the day, and I would watch it and be like, "Oh wow, these guys are so fast." And then comparing it to speedrunners now, and like I've looked back recently, it's like, wow, they're like not even that fast at all.
Yeah, it's like I kind of know what you mean, but it's like I feel like that's like the same with everything, right? It's like when you look back on
Yeah.
like game, it's like with like dude, I was watching like a video of like old Fortnite or whatever, and it's like going from like 2024 or whatever, like the 12-year-old kids who just like crank or whatever to like the season 1, like the tiny forts or whatever. It's like I feel like with anything, people do just like get faster given enough time.
What would you recommend for anyone trying to improve their mechanics?
Okay, something like I'm probably the most okay. When I do like, I like to do like sometimes on stream, I'll just like people will send in runs and it's like I'll watch them and it's like I'm probably the most okay. Well, people have gotten better recently. Like I watched some runs like earlier today and it's like I didn't really have much to complain on in terms of like crafting order, but like go back like a year or whatever when I'd watch the runs or whatever, and I'd be the most nitpicky person when it came to crafting order. I think like if you want to have good mechanics, like you have to get just like your crafting order correct. And by crafting order, I just mean like your inputs basically. Because like I'll give an example of like someone who has like bad crafting order, or like I think watch like I guess Feinberg like now, but it's like I think someone who played like Arashi like 2023 Raynex or whatever, like he'd put gold in his like inventory or whatever. I don't know how to like explain it, but it's like just watch like Do Craft or whatever, and it's like you never have like iron on the top of his inventory or whatever. It'll always like go from hotbar to like directly in the crafting slot. Like just look at the crafting, there's no wasted inputs. And it's like getting that where it's like your crafting order is just perfect, no wasted inputs. It's just like such, you need that foundation to like obviously you can't still have like good mechanics without like the foundation of just like good crafting order. But I think it is just like starting point. I think it is just good to optimize your inputs because it's free time save, right? Like you want free time save, and then
sense.
obviously, and it's just
like sometimes people might craft like their iron tools and then they'll craft like something else and then they'll craft like a gold shovel. So you would want to like group things better, I guess.
Yeah, like iron tools, gold shovel, and then they have to go back to iron for bucket or something. It's better to just do like shovel, gold shovel, and then like your tools and then bucket.
Makes sense. You tab space?
Like a hybrid. It's like I don't know. It's like this sounds weird, but it's just like some crafts just like feel better on tab space, and then also like some days it just like feels like a tab space day. I think it's because it's like I think with drag crafting, it's like you have to be like I used to be on GUI 3 where it's like if you want to drag craft, you have to be like ultra mega dialed in with like God aim or whatever. It's like but like I've switched to GUI 4 now, but even then it's like it is easier because obviously just like the target's bigger or whatever, it's easier to just like hit the slot to like craft more consistently. But like even then it's just like some days like my aim just isn't as good. It's like tab crafting is it's still definitely like aim, but it's more like input based, right? It's like more like keyboard heavy instead of like mouse heavy. So it does kind of depend on the day where it's like, okay, this is a drag craft day and this is tab space day.
That's funny. Okay. Something I've been wanting to do with guests on the pod is just like look back at their old runs, or I guess even videos on their YouTube, and just like, I don't know, explain them. If you've ever watched like Hot Ones, Sean Evans, he does this thing where he'll be like, we're gonna look at your old Instagram posts.
Yeah.
So your first upload on your main is Minecraft Speedrun 1144 1.16 Icarus RSG.
Oh my god. You're watching this
So,
run
like,
to 1144?
We don't have to watch it, but like, why Icarus as your first upload? Where did that come from?
I think I was, cause I think RSG was just like boring. I think Icarus was just like the zoomer.
Funny.
It was like the more zoomer thing, cause this is like single instance era, right? Where it's
Yeah,
where like resetting is just so slow. I think like I just got so sick of like single instance resetting, and I just didn't wanna like do RSG anymore. And like Icarus back then was just like no one played it, so it's like I was kind of going for world record. So it's like you had to reset way less, and also it's just like more seats are playable, and like that's just generally more fun, right? So I think that's like what drew me to Icarus.
I wish Icarus was back into fashion because like everyone still knows about it, but there's only like I don't know, very very few people still grinding it.
I feel like there was an era where people were just playing like all the random like mods or whatever, like
data pack
Pearl,
things,
Poglu, yeah, Pog World, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like all those categories are just like sometimes people would play them for like world record or like good times, but now it's just like they're just so optimized, right? It's just like you have to like learn the super micro stuff, and it's just like so hard to get like a respectable time.
I think a lot of these like more branching off categories like fall in and out of fashion, but just like RSG, SSG, you know, AA to some extent, they're just always gonna be they're more like true to the game, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big factor.
Icarus and like it is kind of like gimmicky, right? Where it's like after a while it kind of does, because I think what draws people to like weird categories is like the novelty, right? It's like damn, Elytra and 64 rockets is like that's so cool. Like I remember like when I was messing around with Icarus, there's like so many weird things I learned with like Elytra and stuff. Like Icarus had like duration 3 rockets or whatever, and you could like I remember in like fort hallways or whatever, it's like you'd use one rocket and then you'd like stop and then you'd like go again and you'd carry the momentum like through the corridors or whatever. Like there's so much like random stuff like that. But now it's like once the gimmick wears off, it's like people just like it is just like less interesting, I guess. So people stop playing.
All right, another video. This mistake cost me sub 15, and the thumbnail is it's a completed nether portal, and right next to it is a nether portal with one obby misplaced. Yeah, what happened there?
I mean it's like the mistake everyone's made, right? Just like misplacing obby. Like I think this is like before.
You remember what your PB was back then?
It was 1634. I think. Oh my god, this is the run because I choked sub 15 on this run, but my PB was 1634, and on this run I tied it. I got 1634 twice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Like oh my god, I remember this run. I was I did lava raid in this run. I don't know why I remember this, but okay. I've been called out on this because apparently this is just wrong, but I thought that the only 2 people who ever did Lava Brain were me and Crooks, but apparently like way more people did it. Like I think Geo did it, Ral did it as well. But it's I don't know.
Oh, in Treasure?
Yeah, in Treasure, where like you place the lava and you pathfind in,
Yeah, I used to do that, but then like Boomer started falling into fashion. It's like, oh.
I wish there were like more like cool routes or whatever with like lava, like situational routes, but now it's like all the routes are like universal, right? Where it's like Boomer is like you can always do it. Like Lava Brain had like a bit of like specificity, I guess, where it's like you need lava and stuff like that. But now like the routes, they're not like boring, but I feel like all the routes are like too like standard, I guess. There's not like much variation.
That's fair. There's some stuff still coming out, like the stables elevator. I think it's pretty cool, where people have been using that. And then that's from Crossroads. And I think they also released a video on top-down lava housing, which I have a funny story about. Back in like 2021, I think, you know, Bastions were still more new. I mean, way more new than they are now. I was like, it'd be really funny if someone made a viable Bastion route with, elevating gold.
Oh,
I
this
just
is
posted this on Twitter, and then Fyro responded me like a day or two later with top-down lava housing, and it was like actually not a bad route.
I think I remember seeing that tweet, the fire one with the lava housing route. I mean, it's cool to see it's like the lava housing route has kind of come like full circle or whatever, because it's like the Fyro's route was like the first one ever, right? And then for a while there was a good lava manhunt, but there was no good like lava top down. So what people would do is go like from top down to like boat down and do lava manhunt. But now it's like come full circle again, where it's like now we're doing elevator again for lava manhunt, but just in like a different spot. Or not lava manhunt, lava top down.
Yeah. Okay, here's another video. The worst speedrun in Minecraft tournament history.
Okay, oh my god, this was during MSL, and it's like, this is, okay, nobody would ever make this mistake today, because, like, tourney play, because of rank, like, everyone's gotten so much better. Like, look back on Season 1, and it's like, it would just be the best at decision making, but it's like, have like different decisions. I say like you get the top 10, like everyone on the top 10 on like a seed or whatever, and it's like there'd be like so many branching paths or whatever. It's like everyone like maybe they'd go here, or like they'd go take this terrain, or maybe they'd even like leave the bastion differently, or just like depending on like what they have. But like nowadays you get like, I feel like Season 4 you get like the top 10 in a call or whatever, watch it run, and it's like everyone will just have the same decision. It's just like, it's so, or like almost the same decision. Maybe there's like some micro differences, but like obviously now this would never happen. Like nobody would ever like even consider doing classic. But like I'm trying to remember the details of this run, but I remember, oh my god, okay, like doing well on this seed. But a big issue was, this was before like I had anything like standardized, like inventory management or anything, and this seed I think was an RP enter with a fire charge, and that meant I didn't have a flint and steel. And this is back then where it's like you would just clear inventory or whatever. It's like most of the time you just expect yourself to have an FNS, right? So you just like throw out fire charges. Yeah. And I entered the fort without a fire charge. So what I had to do was I placed wood like behind the portal. I punched a blaze and used the blaze to light my portal. And then I did that, and I made a mental note. Okay, I need to remember to get a light. And it's like I went to the overworld. Okay, it's just like desert or whatever, no river. It's like, okay, fine, I can just go like find one later. I'll look out for like gravel or something. And then I go to second portal accords, and there's just like no, or like I think I look for gravel, and I just have like no iron or something. And there's just also like no gravel or whatever, so it's like, okay, I already pre-built the portal, I have no FNS, I have no fire charge, like what do? I decide to mine gold and just like, okay, I'll just high roll getting, actually maybe I did, no, I had no, I don't remember, was it gravel or iron? I was one of the two. Or I was going for fire charge or like gravel or something. So I mined gold for or whatever. I think I traded like 20, 30 gold, and I just didn't get like any fire charges. So and like also I think I ran out of food or whatever, and I was like, okay, it's actually like so over. There's like no gold left anymore. It's like, okay, fine, I'll just go back to like my bastion. And it's like maybe I'll still have trades there. I go back, but I forgot I placed like 2 gravel or whatever to push all the trades up, so all my piglins are just dead. And then there's just nothing there, and I try to like mine more gold, there's just like nothing, and it was just the worst tourney run ever. Like the title speaks for itself.
That's funny. Yeah, it's like impossible to imagine anything like that happening nowadays, but I don't know, things happen. I mean, back in the day, remember, were you there for like the 1.14 tourney?
About the November like 2021.
Yeah.
That's oh my god, wait, sorry, I got something. That's the tourney that like got me into like interested in like running. Yeah. The Kiryu core match, that one.
Yeah. It was such a random time to join Minecraft server. That's really funny. No, I remember it was just even in the final match, it was like, oh, we are one pearl short, or we're one blaze powder short, and they would spend like 20 minutes before making it back. Just disasters everywhere.
Yeah, there's so many clips of that. I mean, it just never happened today. But do you remember the clip of Fruit trying to make the portal in the stronghold? But
Oh, that was
forgetting
in
the
Relay,
water?
I
That was in
think.
Relay. Oh my god.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, still, similar kind of era.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
It's like
All right,
yes.
one more video of yours. This is I got trolled on world record pace.
Oh my god.
6:46 and enter.
Oh my god. I was looking back on this. I'll talk about this more later, but this is like the start of my like second place curse. This was like my first like good RC run, I'd say. Like I almost went, like looking back on this, I almost went from 11xx to 7xx, like looking back on this, because my PB was 1132 when I got this run. And this was like, I took a massive break before this. Wait, let me look at when, this is like, when, was this 2023?
Okay.
Yeah, January 2nd, 2023.
Yeah.
I think
I was about to say, because I remember that I like didn't hear much of you for a long time, and then you popped back up.
Because I remember like I was hard grinding like RSG for in 2022 or whatever, and I just got like nothing. I think I got like my PB was 1132. I think during my grind I got like 3 extra 3X's, and I was like, okay, this game's fucking stupid. I just don't want to play. And I think like I don't remember what exactly, but it's like I think I took like a long ass break, and I was like, what if I like go back or whatever? And it's like slowly I started to ease back into it, and like this was I think one of my first like sessions back, I want to say, because I remember I'm looking back on like the VOD or whatever, and it's like, or I think I was watching like Silver watch the VOD, and one like chatter asked like, do you think you could get sub 10 or whatever in during the session? I was like, nah, I'm like too washed or whatever. But I think this run was just like, oh my god, I am like really proud of this run, like looking back on it. But I think it's just like looking back on this, it was just like everything just like worked out, I think. Cause like even back then I was just like super linear. Like I think a big reason why I couldn't like get paces, like I couldn't beat my PB, was just cause like I'd high roll everything. Like I remember you know, like nowadays everyone does Pydar or whatever with like the blue, like you find the fort or whatever, find the mob spawner and then go towards it. Like I think this perfectly represents my game, like my playstyle. The first time that released, I remember looking at it as like, dude, that's stupid. Just to go pick a direction
Really?
and hit the fortress. And I think I
so
did that
funny.
for like the next 2 months or whatever, until I realized, okay, that's kind of just stupid. But it's like I think like this was before Ranked came out, and like I didn't play that many tourneys. Like I think tourneys I played were like MSL and like probably like an MSM or two. I think I played in like a TTAG as well. But like that type of mindset, and it's just like this seed just like perfectly worked out, where it's just like it's ultra linear. You spot on the bastion, the fort is just like obvious terrain, and then it's just a highway on the fort with all the blazes. But like the one thing I'm super proud of, like I think well, people will probably do it today, but endgame on this or like my second portal terrain nav on this is so good. Like nobody, like looking back on this, I think almost no one would make this play where I like jump into the lava and like blind pearl twice. It's like I remember being in call with Doog, it was probably Doog, I think, and it's I think he was talking about like replaying the seed or something, and he said like he was trying to like beat my time, as like he just didn't understand how I played it, like how I saved so much time on the end game, I think. And it's like
That's
looking
funny.
like like that, I think I'm like so proud of that run. I don't know, it's just like that end game, and like looking back on it, it's like I should have zeroed because I had crying obby or whatever, but I don't know. It's like it was 5 explosive 0. It's like in early 2023 or whatever. It's like it's hard. It's risky. But it's like I don't know. It still was just like a big run for me. I am still like so happy for it because it was like kind of my breakout run. I think it was like the first run where it's like people like knew me from, because it's like it was world record choke, right? This was like back when Duke had 815 world record.
It's funny you mentioned the Pydar thing and how you just thought it was bad. Because I remember when Pydar first released, and I was like, "Wow, this is like the best thing ever." And then literally all the RSG runners, a lot of them had the exact same mindset as you, and they were like, "Well, this, I mean, it takes like 30 seconds, but I would like, I wasn't that good at 1.16. I mean, I'm still not that great because I just don't play that much. But I remember I would take like 30 seconds and just like find the fort. Um, and then like maybe a month or two later, people started doing it, and I was happy.
I think
I
like
think one.
wait,
Yeah,
you
one of
go.
the things that helped was K4 did like the corner Pydar tech, so you don't have
Yeah.
to press
Oh
every
right, yeah,
border.
because people would go to each like chunk border individually before, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. It probably is like the rank mindset, but I think my mindset definitely has changed a lot since then. Where it's like I think like looking back on it, it's like I was like such like I high rolled so much. Like basically like like I'd say like no fear play style. Like me and like a few others, like I think I was one of the first people who would like leave on like I think I was one of the first people where it's like I'd watch a run and it's like leave on 5 or whatever, and people and nobody would do that or whatever. Or and even oh my god, in my 12, 15 or whatever I think Bruin in one of the comments asked me why didn't you do like calculated travel or whatever, because I literally wasted, I had 20 obby, I wasted my obby like pillaring up out of like a cave or whatever, like because I
So
like killing a
funny.
blaze, because I remember just thinking like why would you do calculated, like you're not gonna hit the stronghold, because this is before like access or whatever, this like 4 jump, and like you're not gonna hit the stronghold, just high roll the blind. Like looking back as such like a, actually no, perfect existed back then, but oh my god, I was a perfect hater. I hated like
You really?
or whatever. I voted against it in the poll, but like now it's like
Mhm.
I feel like I don't know, I feel like I've changed so much. Like one of the first people to do like Bodai or whatever. I saw Bodai, I was like, okay, I'm learning this. Like I remember
Yeah.
sitting in like call or whatever, and people would ask like, how do you do Bodai? And I'd like run them through like you change this setting in Ninja bot or whatever, and it's like, oh my god, like time has changed so much.
hmm I think a lot of speedrunning has really just shifted to like consistently, like literally consistency. Like, the seed, we're resetting more seeds, literally,
Yeah.
instead of just single instance. And, we're hitting the stronghold every run instead of, maybe it used to be like 20%. And then before that, it used to be like 1%. And we're always going for calculated and almost never going for blinding.
Yeah, I
It's
feel like
just like, a ton of stuff.
feel like a big part of that, like I'm thinking on it, and it's like obviously like people did like realize 20 was just like better like pretty early, but I feel like rank like season 0, season 1 was just like such a big learning experience where it's like people would
Mhm.
still like play kind of high rolly or whatever, but like season 0, season 1, it's like Feinberg was just like rank 1 like easily
Yeah.
like 2300 elo world record whatever, and it's like I think like obviously people knew Fine was the best, but it's like when you can play him and watch his gameplay like this often, it's like it's just like study what he does, and it's like oh, he just plays full consistency basically, and it's just like I feel like gradually like people just like learn from the best, right? And it's like eventually like nowadays it's like everyone just like at least in rank just like full focus is the consistency play style.
hmm How important is a bit of a shift? Like how much emphasis do you put on learning new tech?
Okay, I think the best example of this is like there are like the 2 camps, right? There's the Feinberg camp, which is just like don't practice, don't learn, just like do what you know, 8 bed 0 and ESI 2 or whatever, and still win anyway. It's like I don't know. I feel like for that, it's like you need to be a very special type of person. You need to be Feinberg basically, where you're just so unbelievably consistent, where that works. For all like obviously you don't need to learn tech immediately, but all I'll say is new tech is so important. I think Duke this season, season 4, and even and Dugan this season, season 4, and Priffin in season 3, I'd say, are like 2 recent moments in history where people are like, these people are on top of their tech or whatever. Like even now, like I feel like Priffin is pushing a lot of tech. Like I saw him doing some new zero, but like season 3, I remember like Priffin's like probably the best stables player, and it's like part of it is just because he's done like so much like random research into it. Like in season 3, I remember losing games to Priffin where he just like dig to the like in left trip or left gap or whatever. You can dig to the bottom stable's chest, and like nobody did that. I think Priffin did it first.
Yeah.
And it's like stuff like that.
I think that used to be like really old tech, but no one really did it. I think it was people went from the center chest to the gap.
Oh yeah. I think like there was like a manhunt around with that or something. Yeah, like I think Priffin in season 3, like learning tech like that. Duke in season 4, just like I'm trying to think of like specific examples, but it's like Duke in season 4 is just done like so much like random tech. Like every time I watch his stream, like I feel like there's just like some random tech. It's like, damn, I didn't know that. But I think, and it's like season 3, like Priffin was. Well, season 3 was contested, but like obviously Priffin won season 3 playoffs, and then season 4 is probably like Duke's most dominant season ever. And like I think the gold, this is old, and this is an old example, but like the gold standard of learning tech, the GOAT, time you would watch a Crook stream, he would do tech that no one else did. He would learn like some random tech would drop in Java chord, and it's like he just know it. Like I think the best example of this is when you dig for BT and there's like multiple sand above it, right?
Yeah.
Like what Crooks would do, or like what Crooks did a while ago was I think he was the first person who started doing it, is he would break the sand at the bottom and you'd suffocate a bit on the sand that just fell on your head.
Yeah,
get, like,
so you break it faster.
To break it faster. And it's like that was like
forgotten
tech.
I never found that to be consistent, because sometimes it would like bug, but I don't know if there's a consistent way to do it.
Yeah, I think it's like something to do with shift. I don't fully remember. It's like it helps, but that was like kind of forgotten tech, because like some people just like forgot about it or whatever. I think I think Silver had this story where it's like Silver was like hard grinding. He was learning like he was trying to like learn everything, and it's just like Davey came back or something, and it's like Davey got their some pet or whatever, and Davey told him about like do you remember the random tech that Crooks did with the sand or whatever? And he'd show it like that. Like I think like Crooks is such a good example where it's just like he was just so ahead of the game on like learning tech, and it's just like he would just know everything basically. And I think that's why he was so far ahead. Like obviously he was just like so consistent and so good at like decision making. Like he was ahead of his time definitely. But like I think part of what made him like so much better than everyone else is he just like knew everything. He just like learning new strats. I think like see if you're new to the game, I'd say like fun are just more important. Just like learning your bastion routes, stuff like that. Just like learning how the game works in a way. But when you're going for like rank 1, trying to like push your limits, it's like learning like new tech can just like be such a big like differentiator.
And I'm contractually obligated to insert AA into this segment. But I feel like the difference between me and Feinberg is that I've always been very tech focused. And he's just like, he's good at decision making, and it carries him throughout the entire rest of the run. But something funny, Feinberg crafts way faster than me. Like, that's not really a question. But because I do book crafting most of the time, a runner desktop folder, he recently did crafting analysis, and we had like the exact same crafting time spent in an entire AA run, even though I'm just like slower. And then, because people are always like, wow, Feinberg, you're saving so much time mechanically over other runs. so you know, people wanted to analyze that, and it turns out they're for Shulkerbox, time spent in Shulkerbox over an entire run, he's the best, but my recent PB is like right behind him. Ooh. Probably like a couple seconds off. So like I don't know, I would consider myself like less mechanically skilled, but you know, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I remember watching one of your AA runs, and you do like tech that like I remember watching Feinberg, and I'd watch like you do a run. It's like there's so much stuff that's like, damn, I like Feinberg just is like hasn't learned any of this. Like I don't know if you still do this, but like you don't like make splash potions, right? For how did we get here? Like you just drink them like
I used to that. I make splash now. I found it too inconsistent. Okay. You still could technically do it and maybe save time, but it's just a bit too dank and risky, I think.
Yeah.
Because Eldon used to just drink them, but he would just sit there for like 20
Yeah.
seconds and drink his potions, which is definitely worse. But no, there's like, I mean, I think nowadays he's a lot better with it because he used to, like half the AA world records he has is with T-Wags had we get his So he's definitely improved, but there's still a lot of small like one thing I've been a proponent of recently is you keep twisting vines and bone meal to the outer end, and then you can pearl up to the ship quickly.
Oh, I see that for like 0, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm arguing with people. Koosh thinks it's kind of stupid, but I'm a big fan of it. And then I'm proud of my current PB right now because it's just a very different style of run to like all the other sub 230s, right? Like I do 0. I don't think any of Feinberg's runs ever have 0 in AA. Like I do Bodai, he doesn't do Bodai. It's just like, a lot of small things.
Yeah.
Okay. What are so we touched a bit on like advice for runners on mechanics and things. What are like some immediate resources you would recommend?
I feel like just like watching top runners, I think that's like for me when I like started, I mean it was harder back then because it's like I feel like the best practice was like tourneys and there were just like so few or whatever, but like now I feel like just like watch people. Obviously it's like if you're going for RSG it's probably better to watch like RSG runners or whatever, but it's like I think ranked is just like the best for improvement when you're like getting started, and it's just like watching better runners, not to like copy what they do, but just like to know options or whatever, because like I mean a big thing is just like play time, I think, because there are like I've been watching, I don't remember who, but it's just like when I watch like newer runners, they just like don't have adaptability for like certain situations. Like I think it was on Treasure Bridge or something, and it's like there were piglins, like how it's like after you break the 2 gold blocks, it's like you try to get on the stairs and like go up, right? But it's like there's a spot where it's like you break a block before like going on the stairs and like going to like the rampart. It's like there was a pig there, and it's like they just like didn't know what to do. They
just run into it.
Yeah, they run into it, get knocked off, and like fall into the lava. And it's just like I think that's just like a good example of just like not knowing how to adapt to certain situations, or just like not knowing do certain bash. I don't know. I think it's like stables is a big example where it's just like people don't fully know what to do, and it's not like the most generic stables like easy gap or whatever. Just like I feel like watching runners, just like seeing what they do and just like copying and just like understanding the plays behind that they make is just like so useful, because it's just like I don't know if you remember this, but I remember I think C School was trying to like try to learn 116 strats like completely blind or whatever, no input or anything, and it's like 116. I think it's just like there's so much stuff. It's like if you spent like 1,000 years figuring it out, it's like some stuff you would just miss, and it's like I think it's just so important to like watch other runners. It's just like there's so much small stuff that like you just have to watch other runners to like figure out in a way, because I was like it's just so hard to like learn everything on your own. But there is also like you just have to play like a lot with like fashions are in particular for newer runners. I think just like learning how to adapt to like piglin RNG. Like what do I do if the piglin's on the treasure stair? Like what do I do if the piglin's here or whatever?
I would definitely agree. I think bastions are something that literally anyone at any level is always trying to improve at.
Yeah.
But I think also forts can trip people up because they seem a lot more easy than bastions, but there's a lot of small routing things that people mess up with.
Yeah, especially at the top level, I feel like there is like forts have always been like kind of ignored, because it's like I think when people would learn forts, there's like the one resource or the one like the few tips they give to everyone. Like if you're in the bad side, go upstairs. If you're in the nether room, go down the stairs. Balcony opposite the balcony, and and then it's like you tell them that, and it's like okay, you're good to go. But now
yeah,
I feel like with forts like in playoffs or whatever, watching Priffin, it's like I think Priffin had a lot of cool ideas with like fort routing, and it's like now there's like in ranked there's like 2 separate philosophies when it comes to like how to play forts.
Really?
Like there's the Priffin like philosophy that's like Duke started doing, Loki started doing a bit. I've like tried it as well, where it's like you just stay on like full RD pretty much, like you never drop the render distance, and just like full main spawner, and it's like that's been working out pretty well. But then like sometimes it is worth doing strays, and it's like balancing those like two options. And then there's also like weird stuff with like pearl hanging for strays and then like going back or whatever.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of nuance I think now with like fort routing and like decisions in like forts basically.
I think it'd be funny to see like two completely different schools of thought develop. Like, you know, half the runners like almost only play strays. Half of them like only play spawners. And recently you've been doing like the double blaze bed in your 100 hardcore, right?
I saw
That's
like
funny.
K4 was talking about it a bit. I saw Priven do it as well. I think it is like it is still like in progress. I don't know. I think for open it is like good, right? Because like it is just, I'd say it's like probably once you like get it once I like probably like get it down comfortable, it's probably like around the same speed if not faster as the regular like top blaze bed. And then also it just breaks more blocks, right? Like when you do top blaze bed, like sometimes there'll be some nether brick, you'll have to mine like 4 or 5 or something, but with this it's like you'll have to mine like 1 or 2. And I think like it is just like better when you have explosives, but it's like it's still work in progress for enclosed. I think I still don't know if it's better because of like enclosed, if there's just like a shit ton of fire. Yeah,
okay.
One idea K4 had was you do double top bed for enclosed, where you put crying, you mine out the top or whatever, and then you place crying at the top. So you do the first bed, and then you place your second bed against the crying, but like there's just too much fire. So I don't know.
Yeah, I remember I tuned into your stream a few days ago, and someone was like, "Hax is doing a double blaze bed." I'm like, "This sounds so stupid." But I mean, it seems to work. It just, I don't know. It's funny. Pop quiz. Do you know who invented blaze bedding?
It was, oh my god, it was rediscovered by Fyro, but it was discovered by like someone else, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think their name started with an S. I don't fully remember.
Yeah, it's Sky Fidels.
Sky Fidels, yeah.
And I think the first, I remember I was watching Duncan do a 1.14 tournament, and Skyvales was playing, and they were blaze betting, and I think that was like the first real showcase of it.
Was it like it was really
blaze betting? No, it was like below the spawner, and it wasn't that good, but it was cool to see. I mean, like that was 2020. No one really knew what they were doing. Okay. So I have my 4 standard questions that I've been asking every guest, so we can hop into those. And the first one is, what is just 1 or maybe 2 really small micro time saves that you're a big fan of, you want to see people doing?
I mean, the big new one is double blaze bed, right? Like, I feel like that has potential. Like, do it on open spawners, maybe on enclosed. I mean, crafting order, I already talked about earlier. I think that's super important. People have been like focusing on that a lot more recently, but it's I think it's still like some people aren't like fully like have it perfect. I'm trying to think of like what else. I don't have anything like super micro. I mean, I think like surge crafting still like kind of underrated. Like a lot of people are still like just like on English or whatever. Like I think as much as I say like Norwegian is the best, I think there is like, it does depend on your needs. Like I think first, like if you don't do gold helmet, gold pickaxe craft, like maybe Luxembourgish or maybe Ukrainian suits your needs better. I think like stuff like that is I'm
guilty for playing on English.
It's like, oh my god, Dugal like Dugal is ride or die with English, and it's so annoying because it's like he'll learn like the most random tech or whatever, but it's like a English better. He just refuses to learn like the new language. It's so goofy.
The main thing is that for AA, there's so many subtitles. I just don't. I mean, I think it'll be a bit much. Maybe at some point. But
I know Raul
there's so many random subtitles.
Yeah, Raul plays AA in Ukrainian, but it's like Raul's fluent, so like there's not really like a learning curve.
Okay. Next question. do you have any MCSR role models?
Okay, I think if you ever look at my stream, whenever I do like thin or like anything, you'll recognize the background. Crooks, I think, is Crooks is the greatest of all time. I think the biggest role model by far is just like Crooks. I think Feinberg as well. I think Feinberg. Okay, I'll talk about Crooks first because I think Crooks' mentality to like, as I talked about this a bit earlier, just like learning everything. I think like I've definitely been like, even now I think I'm not like the most proactive, but like there are times where it's like I'll think back on Crooks' dominance. It's like if I want to reach like that level, get rank 1. Oh my god, I still need to get rank 1. Like if I ever want to like push my limits or whatever, it's just like I know I have to like practice all this tech, and it's just like Crooks I think is like in my mind is like that example of like perfection. And also like I feel like Crooks is also just like such a calm runner. Like I think it was like one of his PBs or whatever, and it's like he got a PB and his reaction was just like a pog 11:15 or whatever. Like it's like I think just like such a good mental, so ahead of his time with like learning and just like focus. I think just like GOAT mentality. I don't know. I think like it sounds so corny, but I think Crooks, like prime Crooks, like watching is just like beautiful Minecraft gameplay. Like I can't describe like I don't know. Maybe it's weird now because it's like now that I'm like good, it's like I kind of don't have like that sense of novelty or whatever. But I remember like I think it was just like maybe it was when I quit or whatever. Like during that break from before I got my 646 EE, I think like during that period I watched a bunch of Crooks. And I remember just like watching him and it's like damn, like this Minecraft gameplay is just like so fucking gorgeous. It's so beautiful. I think yeah, Crooks is like probably my main role model. I think Feinberg as well. I think Feinberg is just like he like I think it was like during one of maybe it was Koth or something. It was like was it Koth? What was
you played in that, right?
No, I never played in Koth, but
oh really? I thought you did.
It was Koth or Method Tourney. It was the one where Feinberg died to placing the bed above him and like he
yeah,
that one. I think like in one of the interviews or whatever, he just said like or maybe it was a VOD review. He just said like he was watching someone be like nervous or whatever, and he was talking about him, and it's just like he just said he just never gets nervous. He's just like full confidence, never gets nervous. Like who cares? And it's like I think that type of mindset where you're just like super ultra confident in your plays, is just like I think helped me so much because it's just like I was like very very nervous, and it's like I mean I still kind of am like I play tourneys, but it's like I think I've gotten better at it. Like part of it is just like the more you play, like obviously just experience, but like I think my mindset has changed a lot. Just like in a way, imitating Feinberg's, where it's just like you just need like full confidence in the place you make, and if it doesn't work out, it's like you learn from it, you try again. I think like that mindset is like something I've heavily like taken from Feinberg, and I think it's not.
I think as we get to I guess the end game of Minecraft speedrunning, however far that is, but we're definitely, I mean, as you said, we're in the point where things feel like super fast, right? I think people will start to focus on more like broad concepts of thinking about the game. Like people will start to invest time in specifically like how can I be less nervous, and not just like, oh, I'll play better or I'll pause to calm myself, you know. It's like
Yeah.
I guess yeah, I don't know how to word exactly, but do you get what I mean?
Yeah. I think like mental definitely. I mean, it is like in my head. It's like I wanna like I believe in like what you're talking about, like having like good sleep schedule, having like your life like in order. I think it's just like that'll help. Like having that structure as like a base is so important for just like like your gameplay as a whole. But then it's like I'll talk to Dougal or whatever, and it's like I think he says his best like time slot is 3 AM for him, and it's like it is important to like get the advantages from just like good sleep schedule, like stuff like that. You'll be more focused or whatever. But then it's just like you definitely. I don't think we're at that stage yet where it's like you need to like have it, because Duke is just like like no offense, but he does have like the most detailed like sleep schedule ever. I don't know. I think
true.
like one like maybe it'll like because I think in playoffs I think it's like especially like last season and like more so this season anyone can win, I think. Like, genuinely, depending on, like, who has a good day, I think, like, it is just, like, who has a good day. It's, like, if someone has a good day, someone has, like, a slightly worse day, it's just, like, over. Like, I think, especially with, on, like, linear seeds, I was talking about this a bit earlier, where, like, me, Duke, Loki are just, like, I think the 3 people who are most consistent at just, like, playing a seed perfect. At least, like, a linear seed perfect. I feel like with us, it's just, like, it is just like who is like playing slightly better on the day. Obviously there is like RNG or whatever, but it's like maybe one of us just has like slightly better mechanics, or routing on this is just like we're just like slightly more focused, and that's just like all the difference. I think as we do reach like the end game where like everyone just gets so good, because MCSR is like, as much as like mechanics and micro is an important thing, fundamentally like Fine has never cared about micro basically, but for a long time, like if he starts like caring again, he is like, and like or like focusing on ranked without like learning like all the micro strats, he's probably still like top 5 because he's just like so absurdly consistent. Like MCSR is still just like all about decisions pretty much. But when we do reach like the end game where it's like everyone, like I kind of talked about this earlier as well, where like the top 10 would make the same decisions. When everyone makes the same decisions, like the only difference is just like who makes like fewer mistakes, right? Like I had a seed a week ago or something, I think, where I played Loki, where it's just like I went higher terrain, Loki went lower terrain. Every other play was the same, and I lose off that one play. It's just like, in this era, it's just like you just have to play. On some seeds, you just have to play perfect, and if you don't, it's just like you lose, right? It's just you have to optimize everything you can, I think.
And I'm gonna advocate again for like focusing on your physical and mental health to enable that, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, just, setting yourself up for success in that way, I think is always important. Like, even like meditation, or, I don't know if you've ever heard of Alexander technique. It's something that, I'm a musician, so it's a thing that a lot of musicians utilize. But, I mean, even people on this podcast, like, maybe 2 years ago they talked about more Minecraft, and now it's like your practice routine and how you're thinking about things and how you feel about things. So
I know some runners have been like, especially with nerves, I know like some runners have been trying out like box breathing or whatever, just to try and like calm down nerves or whatever in runs, and just like focus on like not letting it get to their head as much. Like there definitely is like a lot more of like a mental aspect now compared to like a few years ago.
Yeah. The question is, when do we start getting into the performance enhancing drugs?
I mean, all I'll say is there are some SSG runners where I watch them play and it's like it just does not look human. Like, oh my god.
Okay. 2 more questions. Or I guess, what are some of, you don't have to name multiple, but what are some of your favorite runs of all time from you or anyone else?
Ooh, favorite runs. Again, this is like kind of falling off of the previous question you asked, but like any Crooks run basically, like, dude, like I think like obviously it is like a bit dated, right? Like I think dude, in my head I did have like kind of like, I still kind of do, but it's like I have that like kind of fairy tale mentality when I watch Crooks runs, and it's like it kind of got broken recently when I watched one of his runs. It's like I remember him having like god mechanics or whatever. Now that like, his mechanics are still good, but it's like damn, he's like kind of slow. But I think just like Crooks runs, like I think his consistency and some of his decisions he made were like they're still just like good. Like 826 or whatever. I think like that's a run which I heard some people say like that's the best run ever played, but I think like runs
was
like
that second place?
That was, I think so, for the
or maybe
I think that
third.
Was like, I think that was third. Yeah, it was like one of
it was with like an RP.
Yeah, BT into RP, I think, and I think like there were a lot of cool plays like in it. I think like it was the first time I saw like Zai digs into stables into the lantern chest in a unique way from like the basalt. And that was the first time I saw that. And there's also just like a lot of people said it was like the perfect played run, but it's like I don't think it's perfect played. I remember Rod reviewing it. It's like he could have gone for 20 or whatever, or mined 3 obby to like go into stronghold. But it's like that run I think is like reminds me why MCSR is so fun. Where it's like there are like certain runs where it's like some people will just think, okay, he made this play, this is the best play possible, but then it's like, oh, okay, what if he mined 3 obby, and what if like stuff like that where it's like it's so close. Like it kind of reminds me of like I think Ninja Brain did like a comparison video with like Divine versus like 20 obby or whatever, and it's like it reminds you of like that where it's just like people just like it's just like figuring out what's the best play or whatever. Like it's like kind of ambiguous stuff like that. It's just like a really well played run, really solid fundamentals, and also just like cool ideas, and just like it's one of those runs that like reminds me why I like MCSR so much. I think thinking of like
inspirational,
trying to think of like other runs, but I think yeah, just like Crook's runs, Zai runs. I think Seed, the Seed the last Seed me and Priffin played, I think is one that like stays in my mind. Like partly for the mistakes I made, but like I remember watching that back and it was just like, damn, Priffin like actually just played perfect. Like I think that Seed, like obviously it's like less than other ones, but it's just like stuff like that where I look back on it, it's like how do you like play against perfection? I think that's one of the seeds I've learned the most from, just like how Priffin like this gets into a weird area. Well, not a weird area, but like kind of brain RNG like MCSR, which is just like how do you scan for terrain, right? Because like obviously like you want to like look all around, right? But it's like it is kind of a game of like balance, where it's like you want to balance looking around for like terrain, but also like looking for fort and like not falling in lava and hopping in or whatever. And it's like I think watching, because I've always been like someone who tries to minimize like looking around and maximize like speed off of terrain nav, and because I think like a good example of that is like me and No, I don't remember who did it first, but like me and Nofir started doing it around the same time, where we would double F5 to like look behind us while running towards the bastion. Like I think that's a good example of like min-maxing. Like I think just like with like terrain decisions and stuff, it's like I think that's a big problem I have, where it's just like I won't trust my terrain evaluation enough, and like even in I think there's a tourney match, me versus Ral in Relay 3 or something. I think I dug for terrain while Ral like went around or whatever, and it's like in my head I remember watching that back and it's like I would always dig here, but then it's like Ral just saves time on going around, and it's just like it's so weird like rewriting how you think about like terrain or whatever. It's just like because it's just like it's so abstract, right? I think like because like you always think you have it figured out. Like I thought I was like, okay, I learned from this Ral match, I think I understand terrain now better, and then it was me versus Priffin, and it's like I was trying to figure out how to leave the triple. It was divorce triple. We played very similarly. Well, obviously I just made more mistakes, but I think Priffin like scanned and found this terrain on like the far left divorce triple where he pearl hung out of, and I was on like the far right, and I like dug up, which was just like worse. And it's just like learning from that, where it's like you learn from like how people look around and stuff like that. It's so abstract, but it's like I think that's something I still need to like work on a lot.
There's the most random terrain tech that I didn't know, and it's from like 2020. I just found out a few days ago. You know, like the crimson thing with the mushrooms and trees?
Yeah, it's like only on the top
like,
layer, right?
Yeah, someone told me in DC, it's like literally from 2020. I just didn't know that.
Yeah, I have, it's like so like forgettable as well. There's the same thing for Warped, where it's like the twisting vines or whatever, they're only on like the top layer. It's such like there's so much like niche tech, I feel like that's just like not applicable that it gets forgotten.
Back to favorite runs. I think one of my favorite runs is Crook's 957, because it's a really funny run. It makes me laugh every time I watch it. He enters the fort at like 6 minutes. He gets a 6-eye. He almost dies in the end, trolling.
Is that the no mic one?
No, it's with Mike.
Oh.
It's just insane, like the impact Crooks has had on it. Like people still talk about Crooks often.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. And we're gonna watch his GeoGuessr tournament.
Yeah, the EMEA finals.
I'm trying to. I mean, I'm not in a lot of other online communities, so I'm trying to think of like anyone else in other communities with that much of a lasting impact. Kind of like Dante with UHC, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it is like a good comparison, right? Like Dante, 2800
Yeah.
like UHC or whatever, went on to be an Overwatch pro, and like Crux, like GOAT of MCSR, goes on
That's
to be a
true.
GeoGuessr pro.
Yeah, and they both kind of just like burned out.
Yeah.
All right, Hacks. One more question to end off this episode. Who else would you like to see come on the pod?
I think okay. I have like two people I think who would be interesting. I think first off, Ral. I think Ral. Okay, this gets into like a big debate, which is like the GOAT debate, right? And it's like I think right now it's like okay, number one is like Crux, but like ignoring Crux, it's like probably Feinberg or like more recently Doog. I mean, like Feinberg definitely is just like the tourney go, right? Like one of the most tourneys or whatever. But like Fine has just like stopped playing rank basically, or like any percent RSG stuff like that. So it's like his like era is kind of over, and it's like Doog is starting to like start his in a way. Like Doog hasn't won. I don't know. It's like in my head, there's like the major tourneys, right, which are like playoffs and like ESI, and it's like Doog hasn't won like a major tourney where it's like multiple top runners attending.
That's true.
I don't know. I think like
I mean, to be fair, Crooks never won a major tournament.
yeah, true. But like I think Crooks RSG dominance, like I don't know. That is like no world record, no big tourney. Like so tragic for Crooks. But
he won GNG tourney.
Yeah. But like one GNG tourney against Ral as well. What was it? Dude, I'm blanking. Wait a second.
We were talking about GOAT debate.
Yeah. Doog's won TRT, won no recent invitational recently, but it's like I think Doog has had like was a rank like probably the best RSG player. Like when Zai got world record, he was like probably top 3 with like Silver and Zai. Like right now is probably the best ranked player. Like has won like quite a few tourneys. But like Doog I think is like probably like has the best future. But like I think looking back on it, it's like Ral is like the most like has like the largest like longevity because like Fine's quit now like rank / enemy percent, but like Ral's been like here since like 2020 like early 2021, right? Like he's been grinding for so long. It's like Ral never won a tourney, like lost. Actually, I think Ral won like one TRT, but like like lost in GNG tourney to Crux. I think like I don't remember if Ral played in Koth, but I know like Ral like lost in weeklies recently, like the weekly finals. But it's like I think Ral has always been like a top contender, but has like never like broken free. Like I think he's the person where it's just this like largest mental barrier where it's like he's been like trying to break through for so long, but it just like keeps pushing him back. I think Ral has like probably has like a lot to say, obviously because of like just like he's been in the community for so long, but also like I think like his like definitely Ral is like a tilter. I think like he definitely like that is definitely one of his problems, but I think he is like so committed. I think like even though he's like struggled so much, I think he is like he's still like even though like no matter how much he tilts or like feels like upset or whatever, he like comes back and tries to like figure it out like one more time. Another person is like kind of similar to Ral is like in terms of like longevity is like Oxy. Obviously like not as long as Ral I don't think, but playing like me and Oxy are like kind of similar in terms of like we were like not really known until like we're like ranked. We both I think like most people like first like knew of us a bit from like MSL or whatever, but like we were kind of like laying low until like ranked. Like obviously I think Oxy is like with Ral I think like the most consistent person in ranked like ever. I think her average like rank placement is like 2 or like 3, like between there or something. Like
and she's done well in all the playoffs, right?
Yeah. She got 4th in season 1. I think she does have like a nerves problem. Like I remember watching semifinals or not semi. I think it was quarters, like Oxy versus Beef Salad, and she was so nervous on Siege 5. Like building her second portal and also
Yeah, that
the
was a big
Zero.
upset, right?
Yeah, I think she like definitely. I think she has like a lot of interesting things for like mental in regards to that, and also I think she's just been in the community for a while. I think she'd have like a lot of interesting things to say.
Nice. I think I don't know. I kind of feel with Saluda Rao, just like 2 years. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I have no idea how long it's been like trying to get this
The
freaking
AA
AA
world
world
record.
record. And then, people are like, oh, Koosh and Leon and Crowpro, and it's just like, oh my
Oh
gosh,
my
dude,
dude! Oh my
I'm
god!
trying my
Yeah,
best.
that reminds me because like Raul's probably been like the most rolled person in like MCSR like history because like just I'd say like Raul recently got like rank 1 in like season 3 or whatever, and it's like that was like a recent shine or whatever. But like I feel like throughout most of history, it's like Raul has always been second place, right? Like I was watching like the have you seen the Emiya video on like in like 2022 or something, which is like who is most likely to get world record, and it's like there's just like from like 7 to 2, there's like well 7 to 3, there's a lot of debate like who's good or whatever, and it's like the top 2 were just like rock solid, like top 1 Crooks and the top 2 Raul. I feel like that was
Yeah.
like probably the closest Raul came to being like the best player like ever, and it's like that it coincided with like Crook's era. It was just like actually like the worst timing.
It definitely like eats away at you, you know.
Yeah.
It's that feeling. Any cubing fans out there? I'm thinking of like Felix Zemdeg's dominance, and in Australia, second to him was always like Jay McNeil, who's like a super good cuber, but he was just constantly outshined. We're just like, imagine that RNG, like you're super good, but the best guy in the entire world just happens
Yeah.
to like also be in your country. Okay. Well, I think that just about wraps things up. Bonus question, Hacks. Will you run Easter percent?
Easter percent. I was going to today, but then like I don't know. I talked about this a bit on stream, but like every time I like because I before oh my god, this brings me back to a crazy memory. When I was doing my playoff season 3 interview, I had like 3 fun facts, but obviously that would have made my interview like 5 minutes long or whatever, or like way too long.
Yeah.
So it got cut out. But one of the things I think the first time Curryway like heard of me, I think his like first message was like, "Who is this?" or something, because like it was like. Because no, like people had no clue what my SRC was. Like people thought I was Floby or whatever. Because like I was like nobody ever heard of me. Yeah, like people would go in my chat and they would type like the "be yourself" emote or whatever because they thought I was Floby. And
It's so funny.
And like I sent them my SRC and it's like I think Curryway saw that and like the only run on there was like 117 plus all minerals SSG world record holder. And it's like I think Curry said something like Omega Lol 117 like all minerals like kid or whatever, like a free W, because this isn't like MSL or whatever, because like I had no RSG runs.
Yeah.
I like it seemed like I just like fluked my way in there. But it's like dude, I went on a crazy tangent, but like bring back to like why I brought that up is because like when I was learning that category, or like even just like other random categories like all logs, I would always like try to find like some optimization where it's like I'd overroute things where it's like I need to find like the perfect line or whatever, and it's like I'd spend like 3 hours 4 hours routing finding like micro time saves. It's like okay, I break this block or whatever, and it's like I think like Easter percent would be cool, but also like I would just like do that and I'd waste like 5 hours or whatever. And it's like today I wanted to grind out 100 hardcore, so I mean maybe maybe like later, but I don't know.
No, I just brought it up because Easter was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Mathox did Easter percent, but he got all eggs and then a couple fish. I guess all fish, yeah. Apparently, in French, fish of April is April Fools. Okay. Yeah, I think we've gone on for long enough, but thanks again for coming on, and thanks for watching, everyone.